Hello, it's me, Sari, here again, and today I'm here to talk to you a little about the Tim Holtz and Sizzix Sidekick. It's a small, really cute die cutting machine that is meant to work with thin dies as well as small embossing folders. And I'm just talking about a tiny die cutting machine. I mean, the opening isn't bigger than, let's say, 7 centimeters. And when it comes to inches, it won't measure up to 3 inches even. It's going to be 2 and let's say 3/4. So that's what you have to work with. What you're getting with the machine is 2 cutting pads. And I believe that these are a little bit thicker than the regular cutting pads to other die cutting machines from Sizzix. And there's also an embossing pad which you are going to use together with one of these embossing folders. So if you have these small embossing folders at home, I wish you all the best using them. I haven't done anything but a die cut the numbers, because the numbers were things that actually got me going, wanting to get this die cutting machine. The number dies as well as the tag die, which I have put on a magnetic shim that is glued onto some carton, and I really fancied the way it looks here. You could ink up those tags, you could just do some stamping and die cutting and putting it on top, making some, let's say, Christmas tags and whatever. But I wanted to give you a couple of tips extra what to do with these things. So I do like numbers, but remember, you could do this technique with letters, circles, stars, snowflakes, whatever you fancy, in order to create an irregular shape like this. And if you would like to, you could of course just brush on the ink. I usually go for ink or these brushes like this. I do like to work with these brushes, and let's see if I could just show you what I mean. You could of course just hold the stencil and the paper. Let's say this is a paper that I want to do some stenciling on, and I like to actually butt it up against a sort of a wall, an edge of some sort, and I could just brush on the ink like this, just holding the pieces of paper together. You could of course put on a clip or something just to hold them together like so. If I would like to, I could easily, just by holding my hand still here, change colors like this. And of course then it's handy to have a brush for each color family, of course. And depending on the paper, of course, you're going to get a varied, mixed and blended effect of the inks. I'm just going to put in a little bit like this. So let's see what it looks like when I'm taking it off. So here we have it. And imagine having a different kind of pattern. Of course you will get a different kind of pattern there. Of course you could also go for the reversed effect. If you would like to make a stylish congrats card or something, you could of course go the other way around, couldn't you? Let's see if I can make it work out here without tilting the tripod or anything. I actually like to work with my scoring board, and let's see if I can put it up a little bit higher. And what I would like to do now is just put this one into the corner there, as well as that one. And in this case I'm really secure of things being in their place. So I could do the same thing. Just remember, having a different kind of pattern here would of course give you a different kind of result. I just wanted to give you this heads up that it's really nice to be able to make your own stencils and be able to make duplicates of these, because now all I have to do is just change the paper and butt it up into the corner and continue working with this. You could of course use your MISTI or other stamping tool if you want to also. So with that in mind, let's move ahead and try the, sorry about that, I'm going to try this one out. I haven't tried it out yet. It has got a lever or something like this, and it's going to keep it in place, I'm hoping. I'm working on a sort of a plastic surface, a baking board that I have here. I also want to point out that the leftover pieces or the die cut pieces you could of course use as stickers or decorations in an ordinary fashion. But let's see if I can make something here. I'm going to take one of the tags, or just the tag die of course. And the good thing about having a small die cut machine like this is that you're actually forcing yourself to get rid of the small pieces of paper. I mean, you get a lot of small pieces of paper, don't you, when you are die cutting. So just put it here, and this one hasn't got a magnetic bottom now, does it? So all you have to do is just basically put it there, in between those brown die cutting plates, and it's nice to have it so you can see that it's going to cut the paper completely. And as you can see that the handle is going to start to show you in which way it's going to work. So I'm just going to roll it through once. Hopefully it has cut through. It actually has. Not completely at the bottom, mind you. This is a technique that you could make use of if you are going to make a card or something with the flap hanging to its card base, so to speak. But if I were to do this once more, just with a different kind of paper perhaps, there's some residue tape here, which I don't like because it's sort of hindering me from being free while I'm working. The edges of these dies are a little bit deeper, so I'm thinking it's going to be easier to die cut out of some really thick materials, let's say cork and various things like that. So now I'm just going to put the, let's see if I can actually make, because this one seems to be too wide. So that's one thing you really have to think about. 7 centimeters or a little bit shy of 3 inches. And I'm just going to roll it through like this. And now that I have this in the center, I can actually go back and forth and roll it through. And I'm thinking, if you are a beginner when it comes to dies and everything, this is a really small and handy die cutting machine that you can actually bring with you on craft events, crops and everything. So here we have the die itself. I'm going to loosen it now so I can have my momentum here with a stamp that actually comes in the package. So let's see if I could just be bold with some turquoise peacock feathers. And since this is a clear stamp, it's going to look a little bit splotchy when I'm doing it like this. You know what I can think about now? I think I'll just improve my style here. The thing is that you should be able to actually put this embossing folder around the paper like so and have a go at it. So let's see, I'm going to have one cutting plate and I'm going to shift it to the embossing plate as well. I'm just going to put them into the machine and follow the direction. Let's see if it actually did anything. It did. So now I've got a nice relief effect there, and there's a debossed effect. So now I can do a little bit of stamping. My goodness, it really got stuck. So in order to improve my stamping, I think I'll just ink it up once more, and let's see if I'm able to put it on top. And I'm going to keep it in place just a second or two because I want the ink to transfer from the stamp to the paper. So it wasn't perfect. I'm hoping you catch my drift. If you don't want to use the embossed effect, you don't have to. You could just go for the stamped thing there. And now I think I'll just go for the picked raspberry ink in order to stamp the lines that I can put in the center of the tag. So I have something to write on if I would like to do so. And then of course, if I wanted to, I could of course go with a black number or something that I have die cut. In this case I have just the things that I have die cut before. It could look like this, or I could just turn them over, couldn't I? And just have the numbers like so. I could have them askew and everything. And there's also a sort of ring enforcer, I think. You could die cut that one in a separate color. So I must say that I'm really happy about this stamp set and the dies and everything. I also do like the set of 3 stars which I have here, and I'm thinking that could be really nice to just have this somewhere. Let's see if I can find another color to combine with these. Let's go for something brown. Of course you could go for other types of ink as well. And I think I'll just put them once more on the other side, just to keep things cohesive. And just having a clear block like this, which has the grid lines and the sort of a waved edge, it's really easy when you're going to do your stamping. Of course you could go for a stamping tool if you wanted to. So this is basically it. So if you are on the lookout for a small, cute, handy die cutting machine that is going to die cut thin dies, you can do some cutting with thin dies, or if you have some embossing folders since before, or if you just want to have some fun with it, there's also a booklet like this, so you can do a bit of reading if you are not familiar with this thing. So that was a sort of a quick dive through into this Sidekick machine from Tim Holtz and Sizzix. I hope you have a lot of fun exploring and die cutting your things. Bye bye.